flight. Whiskey round table. Oh, Greg, Karen, and the whiskey wizard talking facts and tastings. They've got you covered. Whiskey round table. Oh.
Welcome to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts,
Big Jake,
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar,
and Zach.
and
Back after a while.
producer Zach is joining us.
Zach is here.
I've been MIA. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean, you're usually standing over here with the cue cards or counting us down. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Those were the good old days.
It's been refreshing to have some time apart. No, I'm kidding.
You
I
lying
bet.
ass.
No, you're not. No, you're
No,
not.
You guys
probably
are
not
great.
kidding,
You guys are
but,
great.
Anyway, we're here. It's our 17th show, if anybody's counting, of 2021. Final week of cigar and whiskey month.
Thank
So-
God. No, just kidding.
Been a long
tired of smoking these cigars.
Oh gosh, you've been smoking cigars since you were 4. It's
4
not
years old, I
whiskey
smoked my
cigar
first
month.
cigar.
Gotta start them early.
Yeah,
every
right.
month.
Can't learn how to smoke cigars unless you start early. That's it. Something like
So
that.
you've been, well, you're not here as often because you're usually working now.
Yeah.
So you made special arrangements to join us tonight, which we appreciate.
Yeah, they're working me like crazy. But hey, I'm going into the office tomorrow, so I said I'm taking off early today and go hang out with the Whiskey Roundtable guys.
Like Goran would say, Greggy, they work me like dog.
They work me like dog.
So yeah, because and it works out well because tonight on the Whiskey Wizard is the final sequence of our pairing event where you're kind of the final judge of the cigar selections that Greg and Dan did, and I think it came out quite interesting. So
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for having me judge that. Just going through all the whiskeys and the cigar pairings.
Just
it was
remember,
great.
how you judge depends on if you eat after the show.
That's fine. That's fine.
just-
I stand behind my decisions.
Now, do you know?
But it's getting up the steps that's the problem.
Now, do you know who won?
No, I don't think so.
There's a winner?
No, I got all of these blinds. I got
Okay.
all of these blinds, so I just picked them 100% on tasting notes.
Okay. See.
no, we're very modern in that there's no real losers. But,
Everyone gets a trophy,
But
huh?
Zach did
Oh,
kind of render his opinion about each pairing and which one he preferred. So
Didn't you
we'll
do the
just
same
see how
thing?
that goes out.
What's that?
Did you do the same thing or no? Wasn't it 3 of us or was it just me
No,
and
but
Dan?
Oh.
you guys, remember, you guys picked them.
Right.
Then you tried your own, and you gave us how well you thought you did. But he tried each whiskey and then tried each of your cigars with that whiskey, and then he
Holy
rendered
cow.
which one
That's
he liked.
he just gave me this huge box full of whiskey and cigars. I'm like, Doug, what is? And he
shit.
made me pick a favorite of each pairing. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I pulled some big dollar cigars out of
I
my
know
can.
the person who was stingiest with the bribes ended up on the bottom. That's all I have to say.
Well, Greg didn't even know it was
I'm
a
just,
competition
I
till
didn't even
tonight.
know it was a
so
competition.
There we go,
till
there we
right,
go.
no bribes.
But you know, my stuff was honest. I mean, you know, whatever. And everybody's palate's different, so no worries. It's all good.
Very good.
Don't cry, honey, if you
I'm
lose.
not crying. It's just like it's But all I know is that well, at least Dan and not Doug, because Doug doesn't smoke. But anyway, we're trying to get him into it. But
Far as you know.
But hey, have they ever refused a cigar from me?
Who?
The crew.
No.
See what I'm saying? That's how you know. All right, go ahead.
Yep.
Listen, I'm a little off kilter today. It's been a busy day today.
Mercury is out of retrograde, so you should be okay now.
Yeah.
Did you see the moon last night?
I did.
Yeah,
not.
Strawberry Moon.
It was absolutely beautiful. When I left Parma yesterday. So every Thursday, not that you guys care, but every Thursday, I get together with Goran, and Matt and Greg were supposed to come out, but they had something, other things happened. They couldn't make it, but I left there it was probably like 9:45. I left out of there. We ended up at the wagon wheel out there, and I left, and just getting on the freeway, because you know it's pretty cool. You ever follow the moon when you drive home?
Absolutely.
The moon's here. It's here. It's over there. It's behind you. You know, all the travels of the road change the dynamics of where the moon is, right? So it was pretty cool. When I got on the freeway, I swear to God, that moon was sitting on my front right fender, going, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing tomorrow?" You know. So it was
Cosmos Moon, from Moonstruck. They're real big.
It was cool. It was beautiful. It wasn't that bluish moon. It was more like a orange lemonade color. I mean, where I was coming from. Yeah. But it was cool. I followed that moon all the way home. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then I got home and I was like, the friggin' moon was over there. I was like, why having that moon? But it was nice, very nice, beautiful. I didn't know it was going to be a full moon yesterday.
Shauna made us take the lawn chairs out and watch it come up last night. So
there we go.
She was, because it's called the Strawberry Moon, she was
I didn't see
expecting that it was going to be pink or something. But
it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, what I saw was did you see the same colors, or was it different?
Yeah, it was orangish,
orangish
yellow,
lemon,
because of there was some hazy clouds and stuff. So it was very neat, though. It was neat. I don't think it's a super moon. Somebody in the media probably, I saw that, but I don't think they were right on that. So a super moon is when the full moon actually happens at the same time that the moon is closest to the Earth in its orbit, which doesn't happen that often. But
it was very nice. That's all I'll say.
It was purdy.
Yes, it was.
Boy, you got a pretty mouth. I mean, you got a nice. No, go ahead. Nothing.
So Doug, how's the world treating you?
I don't know. Pretty much like a baby treats a diaper, I think.
You just write that?
Yeah.
You're here all night. Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
So, what are you smoking, G?
I am
on
smoking
the last night of Cigar and Whiskey Pairing.
Miss Marion, who's in the audience today, brought me last week, which I didn't smoke, CEO Brasilia. You know, CEO is my favorite cigar. And then for Father's Day, I was. What did you say?
I called her a kiss ass.
Kiss ass. Anyway, I went to friends of ours, I consider cousins, that we went to on Sunday for Father's Day, and I was greeted with a 80th anniversary cigar, which is like $100. I mean, not because of it's literally $100 a stick. And I also was given 2 Soprano cigars, which they haven't made in 20 years.
Yeah, I was not on my radar.
So that was out of somebody's, Frank's very, very sacred collection. So that was my Father's Day gift. So, so those will go in the vault.
Yeah,
and we'll never see them again.
Key.
Yep.
After their special wrapping and preparation.
Mm-hmm. So that was cool. That was a great gift. And Karen got screwed out of her birthday, but that's okay. I took her to dinner.
What do you mean?
I took you to dinner. We went to McDonald's that day.
But why did she?
Why did I get screwed out of my birthday?
Because we had it was Father's Day, her birthday, same day. We the last couple weeks we've been running. I'm not getting home until late, all kinds of stuff. And we just never, we were so busy being at everyone else's get together and birthdays and everything else. We never took into consideration ourselves, if that makes sense to you. So she kind of got screwed out of her birthday. Wah, wah, wah.
Happy
That's
birthday.
Okay. Thank you.
But we had a
But
very
you bought me a leaf blower.
I bought you a leaf blower.
I know there's a few people I'd like to
and I'm
use
still
that.
training you how to
You
wash
got her
the
a
car.
All right, Big G, you demand.
Get her a leaf blower. You can't.
Get her a leaf
top
blower.
That, I mean.
So
It's to,
that's
to
what
dry
every
his
lady.
hair.
That's
I
what
use,
every
I use
lady
it to
wants.
get all her back hair off.
Next year, you're getting a Hoover vacuum cleaner.
There we go. There we go.
Next year you're getting a tree trimmer.
I'm not gonna do.
I
had
know,
something
yeah,
to
I know.
say. You know right where I was going.
Oh yeah, I know.
What do you expect? This is the Whiskey Roundtable.
Okay, so it's time.
brown Betty here.
I think we better
brown
get
Betty
going.
here. Go
We
ahead.
better dive into
Yeah, let's get into this.
the show. Do we want to?
We wanna scroll?
Start with
Sure,
little
we got
Paul?
a few folks out in the audience
Oh,
first. I
okay,
want to
sure.
give them
By
a
all
shout
means,
out.
let's-
All
Of
right.
course, we have Jennifer Boggs, who was there before we even went live. She was
Yes.
I love
Commitment.
Jennifer, that's
she
my girl.
Is. She is our #1
Yeah,
fan.
here's for Jennifer.
And we got Rob Richter. He's up north,
north.
up north in Wisconsin. Talked to Kurt today. Well, I didn't talk to him. Text message. He's in Arizona, so
Nice.
we won't see him for probably till next week sometime.
And Matt Sosa.
Matt Sosa.
Matt,
What's up, dog?
oh, Matt, how you doing?
Como está? He
¿Cómo
says.
estás?
Estamos muy bueno.
All right, let's get into this.
Tequila. That's all I know. Oh, get into it, huh? Okay, so let's do a bottle cam. See what we got
need to
here.
start
We have
with
bottle
So-
cam?
So everyone can see what we are drinking tonight.
Hey everyone,
Hang on,
it's time for the
folks.
bottle cam. The
Hang
bottle
on.
cam.
Put your seatbelt on.
Hang on to your seat.
Oh my goodness.
Selena going down the stairs.
Woo, almost fell down.
Holy
Whoa.
There it is.
That's what I'm talking about. Damn, that's a good bottle. Ooh, good looking people. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's
right.
you. And who's that? Who's that guy?
I got the doggy dog.
Oh, look like a predator to me. But anyway,
So, yeah,
God, this
that's
is a long
pretty,
ass bottle cam.
pretty good for a rookie on the bottle cam. So,
He's been watching you.
I know, it's
he
kinda-
has.
I know,
He's
I-
been critiquing me
I-
the whole way.
I didn't ever, I didn't even know he was paying attention, but he's sly that way.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
we definitely had a great time at the birthday party for you and
Well,
Sean.
yeah, but I'm sorry that Karen ended up kind of.
Please, you guys brought me a cake last week.
Yeah,
not just any cake.
Yeah.
It was an ice cream cake. It was
With the
perfect.
Whiskey Roundtable logo,
And a
Yeah, it
bottle
was
of
beautiful.
tequila.
Yeah,
which I hope
Yeah.
you enjoy sometime.
And Marion got me gifts.
yeah.
Maybe because you guys still have to do that thing where you sit out by the curb, so that's why I really got that tequila bottle. So
If it'll ever stop raining on the weekends.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's been a wet year. It really has. It really has.
You know what
It
though?
is.
We could do that. We could set up a tent, and we could just sit under the tent, and that way we would stay dry.
That's a good idea. Do it in the middle of the road. See what happens.
Okay.
yeah,
Okie dokie.
What's the worst that could happen?
But we yeah. So, but yeah, so we did have a great time at the house, your house, Doug, and we did. It was very nice, and everybody was very friendly. People came out, and I forgot my chairs, and everyone else.
is that why you kind of just sat at the?
That's
table?
why I sat there because
Oh,
I forgot my chairs.
We had
and nobody
had extra chairs. It wasn't
So
anyway.
but it was nice. You know, it was really nice hanging out with Chris and his wife.
Chris and Laura, yeah,
They are great.
I'm so
great
glad they
people,
made
man.
it and everything. And
We really enjoyed ourselves with them, and it was nice that Chris hung out with us the entire time. It was beautiful,
I know
absolutely
it was,
beautiful,
he said he really enjoyed that
Yeah.
too. So.
beautiful. And he's a Porsche guy. How do you know
And
like
I
that cat?
think, depending on some things, he may be joining us in the middle of August for one of those
Nice.
single malt shows. So,
Awesome.
so yeah, he's trying to work that out. So we'll see if that gets confirmed. But
All right,
okay,
let's
we're
get
going to
into
learn
this.
a little
Let's
bit
do it.
about Michter's and Michter's small batch bourbon.
Stall, because I gotta light my cigar here
no.
for a second.
I'll say, so if you watched the bottle cam, you saw what the whiskey is that we're featuring, and it's a Michter's small batch bourbon. So Karen will, in just a minute, tell us all about that.
Nice job.
Perfect.
Nice job. So I just wanted to run this down quick because we do have a big ending for our cigar and whiskey month, but a little bit about Michter's. So the name actually was coined by Lou Foreman, who was one of the distillery owners. He combined his son's name, Michael and Peter, for Michter's. And that's how it got its name.
Some people, I don't know if there is a right way. Some people call it Michter's. I don't even know. I've always said Michter's. I don't know if there's an
Yeah,
official right or wrong way on that.
I call it Michter's, but that's just me.
But if you
Michter's,
okay, so
that's
if
the other
it's-
one I've heard. Michter's, and Michter's.
So I guess if you want to be like really specific, Michael and Peter, so it would be Michter's.
Yeah.
That's a new- I haven't heard that
Michael's
one
Mickey,
before.
so
I haven't either, but
Yeah.
see, that's why I got Michter's. Mickey, Michael, Mickey. Anyway.
anyway, yeah, I haven't heard that Michter's before.
Like there's
Okay, so if anybody in the
start
audience
using that.
knows for sure the answer to that, we'll assume that you can use any of those pronunciations, just like it's Glen Morangi or Glen Morangi or
Or, hey, give me that.
So,
That's
and of
right.
course, we don't really care that much about that kind of stuff here
Right.
on the Whiskey Roundtable.
There's a lot of people who get torn up about that. I'm going to start you
Yeah,
every time. Give me some of that Michter's rye back there.
Well, there are limits.
See
to
how
what's
quick I get
acceptable.
torn apart.
I've been corrected so many times by a simple cigar label. I say, whatever, and somebody says it's not pronounced Parma.
UG?
I know, right?
No.
Because sometimes, listen. When I'm out doing my thing, I don't want to hear no bullshit. Listen, you want to smoke a $3 cigar, and I'm smoking a $12 cigar, but you got an opinion on what I should be saying?
So
Like,
here's a funny story
Everyone's
about
got
that.
an opinion.
So he sends me to the cigar shop the other
Might be a
day.
long show, folks.
He sends me to the cigar shop the other day, and he wants some Jaime Garcias. He's like, Jaime Garcias, they're right here. This is where they are in the thing. You got to find them. Well, I couldn't find them because to me, it's not Jaime, it's Jamie. So you should have said
Yes.
Jamie Garcia.
Jamie.
I'm like, Jaime?
there you go. I got corrected, and I made sure I corrected that person back. And that was the end of that. I said, I'll call it what I want. I paid for it. You call your cigar what you want. You paid for it. Don't,
Not only that,
Don't tell me about cigars.
Not only that, but it's a journey. Like, you learn through it. It's like, okay, that's what it's called. Okay, that's what it's called. I know now.
I know that.
Actually, it's
different.
Jaime.
Jaime, it is Jaime.
Oh, I have to
But it's,
clean off the screen.
oh jeez.
It's aggressive, Jamie.
It was an aggressive cheer. Anyway, okay, so moving on.
Michters, whatever. Okay.
Michters.
Michters.
Yes.
Michters. Michael. Michters. Anyway.
Michters. Good.
Anyway, 1989, the American whiskey industry suffered a major downturn, and that was despite me giving my best shot to keep it afloat during my college years. So the owners had to actually file bankruptcy.
But the tequila industry did fine.
I kept that one up, yeah. And the beer industry and the vodka.
Okay.
industry. Okay, sorry.
But anyway.
Anyway, so then in the 1990s, Joseph Magliocco, nice Italian man,
Sounds
Yeah.
Irish. Go ahead.
and his consultant / mentor Richard Newman teamed up to resurrect Michters. Magliocco graduated from Yale and Harvard Law School, and after he left, he entered the wine and spirits industry. And Richard Newman was in the Marine Corps, where he actually earned a Purple Heart. Thank you very much for your service.
Yep.
He eventually ran Old Grandad, Old Crow, and Old Taylor before he became president of Austin Nichols, which is
Jeez, look what I have for my tasting today.
the distiller of Wild Turkey, my
So
favorite.
Surprise.
Like
I think
to
not.
things with the title old in them, right? I guess.
Good point. Yeah. But when Michter's was first, brought up, which was it's one of the oldest. I can't remember the years because I didn't write it down, so it's out of sight, out of mind. It was in Pennsylvania. But when they brought it back, when Magliocco and Newman brought it back, they resurrected it in Kentucky. So right now, there are 3 locations in Kentucky. They have a 78,000 square foot distillery in the Shively section of Louisville. They've got the Fort Nelson building on Louisville
That's the one I always think of, yeah.
Museum Row,
Yeah.
that one. And then they have 14 acres of farmland in Springfield.
Nice.
Probably, yeah, for future expansion.
Amen.
We can only hope, because the
Yeah.
world needs more alcohol.
Amen.
Well, and especially Michters. It's a personal favorite of mine, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. That's all I got on the history.
Oh, okay.
So I told you I was trying to keep this short this week. No pictures, no nothing. I'm just, going for it. So this is Michters. See, now I'm going to call it that.
Michters.
Michters.
Yeah. Michters.
Small batch, and it is 91.4 proof. The mash bill I found is 79% corn,
Oh, I couldn't find that.
11% rye, and 10% wheat.
Oh, so no barley? No, there's barley, right?
Corn, rye, and wheat.
Interesting. So normally a mash bill has at least some percentage of barley, usually 5% or more, 5 to 10% because it is so crucial in starting a clean fermentation. So that's interesting. I wonder how they manage that. They must have an answer for that. So that's interesting.
It's almost like they know what they're doing.
Well, and I like, of course, I'm a big malt guy, so I'm surprised that I didn't pick up on that previously. So cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that.
That's what I got,
I
kids.
like those kind of facts. All right, well, let's just dive in then, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Just in time because my pre-game drink is empty. So this is
Mine too.
You gotta time it out
timing,
right.
great timing. I didn't time it quite as well, but that's okay. Got that nice reddish gold Michter's color.
hey, sidecar.
Sidecar. What's up, dog?
Sidecar's in the house.
Sidecar.
And Kayla is out there,
Kayla, Miss Kayla.
the voice of the Whiskey Roundtable.
Amen.
Yeah.
Essentially.
She is definitely the voice of the whiskey round here.
That is nice and thick, though.
Ooh,
I just love that residue on the glass.
yeah.
Ooh.
Now we should say, I don't know if you mentioned this.
These are dirty glasses.
It is a straight bourbon, but
Wait, is that? hair
which
in
means
there.
that
Builds
which means it
character.
has to be at least 2 years old.
actually
But
heavy.
that's all the information we have. So my guess is that it's for compared to a lot of what we do, it's a young whiskey, right?
Is it? I don't, what did you say? What's?
It'll be just somewhere older than 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So I get straight corn and oak out of the nose. There's something else in there, but I don't know what it is. But I definitely
I get definitely
I
I
definitely
get
get corn and oak out of it.
like sweet corn.
Yeah,
Sweet crap.
You for sure get oak, and I'm some kind of dried. I get some fruit like a raisin or some dried fruit.
I
or
could
something.
I could go with raisin.
Yeah.
I could go with raisin.
Yeah, there's almost like a candy store smell to it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I think it's the combination of everything, but
Right, when you just open the door and walk in there.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned candy store, there's that kind of just vanilla
I could-
sweet.
I could
kinda
say
smell.
I could say raisin. I could say raisin.
yeah, a little bit.
I could. Definitely corn though. Corn and oak.
Yeah.
I definitely
And-
get corn.
And you know, it's
Definitely.
funny because I don't know what it is, but that's a profile at least in smell that I don't usually get. Even like with bourbons, I hear people say corn, and for some reason I hardly ever pick up on something. I go, oh, that's corn.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
No,
this,
I
I
get-
actually
I
do.
do-
Get
I
that.
do get
Maybe
corn
it's
on it,
because
for
it's a
sure.
younger whiskey. Maybe that is why it's more prevalent. I don't know.
I get spicy too.
Yeah,
I get
don't
spicy
I get a
corn.
little ethanol when on the nose, but
Yeah, it was hard to coax out, but like deep in there's a little bit of ethanol burn, but barely there.
I actually like this product, and I've had lots of bottles of that. I like, not to get into long, but I like to put that in the refrigerator.
Yeah,
It
I-
is a beautiful. It's a beautiful drink cold.
anything that's
It really is.
We've talked about that.
Yes.
There are some whiskeys that I like to do that with, and that's fine because however you like it is how you like it, and that's great. But yeah, I think this. I haven't done it with this one. I like Michter's, particularly the rye, but yeah, I think this would go good in the freezer, and you hot summer day, and you
I don't put.
come in and just have it like that.
I never put it in the freezer. I mean, just me personally.
The
I should
fridge.
try that. The refrigerator. I'm sorry, that's what you meant. I apologize.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it cold, man. When it's cold, I like it like it is. I mean, being down here in the basement, the temperature is consistent down here.
Yeah.
It's in the low 60s down here. It's nice. You can almost see
This
your
would be a
breath
good
sometimes.
place if you were going to store a lot of whiskey.
Amen.
This
And
would be
cigar.
ideal. I think.
You're stupid.
Okay,
All
shall
right,
we taste?
Let's taste.
Do
yeah.
you want me to read the nose
Yeah, go
first?
ahead.
yeah.
Go
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, no, that's okay. Nose, straightforward, light, pleasant nose, new oak, corn, grain, and raisins are present,
Okay.
but all very subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smooth.
Hey, let's
Right on. Right on.
let's
right
give
on.
ourselves.
That's
Wow,
neat.
I think we
That's
nailed
easy
that. We
mode.
kind of nailed it.
All right. Should we run in?
Zach's saying let's,
I am.
let's
I
not
am.
get
Let's
too,
run into this.
let's not get too proud of ourselves, I guess. Well, oak for sure. I got a strong oak.
It's good. I can't place what I'm tasting though.
I almost get a little smoke out of it, actually.
You know, I
In the
get
back end a little bit there.
Yeah.
I'm getting like honey up front.
Yeah,
I
honey
get
up
there's
front. I'll go with honey.
yeah, there's
Sure.
a lot of
Yeah,
honey.
yeah.
And the other thing I get is like instead of the raisins now on the palate, I get more like peaches. Like
I didn't get any orange fruit, so to say, but
or is again, yeah, I get peach. What I would call peach. But with the oak, maybe
I can't even say citrus. It might, maybe it
Yeah.
is peach. I don't
we
know.
get
It's a
and
light
that-
fruit
I don't know.
flavor.
We
It
don't.
is a light fruit.
Very
We don't
light.
usually do the finish as a separate thing.
I do. I have finished.
Oh,
here.
you want to do it separately?
It doesn't matter. However you guys want to
Okay.
do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, it's all new.
Go ahead.
Do we
Yeah.
have anyone else want to call out some palettes though before I just?
I thought that was what we were doing.
Yeah, honey peaches.
I'm sorry.
oak.
Usually you guys talk for a while.
Has the show started
We're
yet?
trying to move forward.
All right. Well, okie dokie. Sweet corn, honey, and vanilla are immediately noticeable. It comes off as a young whiskey that hasn't spent a lot of time in the barrel.
Okay.
Also, it says rich caramel with a balanced vanilla, stone fruit notes, smoky depth with an oak finish.
Beautiful.
You
You
said
know, and that's
smoky.
it's
did.
interesting that you said that about the young age because I mentioned that a couple times, but I think sometimes I like young whiskeys. To as a I
Where
think
you going with this?
Huh?
No, go ahead.
He
young
said
whiskeys.
whiskeys. He said whiskeys.
Demonetized.
There's a few other things he could have said, but
Sorry, I wanted to catch you off guard, and I did.
I think the right let's put it this way: the right whiskey can be great in that 2-year range, whereas obviously if you're looking at a 10-year-old bourbon or 6 to 10, yeah, you're going to get a lot more of certain richness, but I sometimes it's refreshing to have a younger whiskey where you get a little more of the contribution, I think, of what's in the mash and the if you do the mash right. And I think Michter's was one of the people that I read a lot about when they were talking about mashes. When we did the Whiskey Wizard on mashes,
Right.
they said that's what their emphasis is on, making sure the mash develops a lot of good flavors, and then you don't have to age a whiskey for 6 years if you do things right up front. 2 to 4 years is plenty. So anyway, and I think that's what they do.
And you know what? A lot of times, so just to clarify, which we talk about on a regular basis, there's a lot of oak notes in here. So we do a lot of stuff when we're in tasting. We talk about oakiness and this and that. Also, caramel, vanilla. I would say probably 85% of the time, I taste that caramel or vanilla like you do, or like you do.
We almost don't say it every time.
We don't say it. We don't say it because it's kind of almost in everything we taste.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah,
kind of,
so-
if it's almost like if there's no vanilla, then I'll comment.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it's so common as a bourbon profile
correct.
that Scotch drinkers, if it's been aged in a first fill bourbon cask, then they talk about, I can taste the vanilla in this single malt because of the bourbon
Right.
cask aging. So yeah, it's a very prevalent bourbon thing. So it's more like it sticks out if it's not there.
So what's our finish?
finish. Light and lingering notes of oak. White pepper. What's white pepper?
That's a spice.
White pepper is a type of pepper.
It's like,
That's white?
As opposed to black pepper. Yeah, well,
So this is a racist. drink.
As
But
opposed
no,
to
no politics here.
there's no black peppercorns allowed in
Amen.
white pepper.
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
that's going to be hard to find pretty soon.
So go ahead.
So
But it's,
notes of oak, white pepper, honey, peaches, and raisins.
You really don't know what white pepper is?
I don't cook.
Listen, I'm the cook. I know exactly
You'll
what white
show her
pepper is.
White pepper being the predominant flavor that brings a nice heat and spice to the finish.
It's not even a heat.
Most
even
most
heat.
pepper has
Sure.
a mix of different peppercorns.
Sure.
But white pepper, they just use the white peppercorns, and it's very light but spicy. Very, almost has a little more heat, right?
Correct.
So I will say, I'm sorry, Zach.
No, you're fine.
I will say that when you guys said peach right away, I didn't get it.
Well, I didn't catch the peach. I just agreed with Doug after hitting it the second or third time. I was like, well, it could be peach, but
That's okay,
Yeah.
but I'll finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I noticed it on the finish, and it was kind of like an unripe peach. So if it's not like one of those real sweet, juicy peaches, it's one of more the bitter.
Little bit of bitterness to it.
Yeah, that's what I would notice. So I do agree with you
But
guys.
it's
on
interesting. It was on the nose was a very sweet raisiny kind of, but then it was more like a fresh. I'll call it a fresh peach flavor. Yeah, on the palate.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about oak flavor too, is it takes so many different forms in whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And like on this one, you can really see like the young whiskey, you get a little bit of that oak sweetness, like almost that oak sugar out of it.
Yeah.
But you're not getting like a lot of the rich tannins like you
know,
would in like an aged product.
Or it might be a
Yeah.
little bit dry or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Right. I think there's some of those compounds that you have from the oak and the young whiskey that would further break down over time, and you don't get them in an older whiskey. They become other things. They
Yeah, for sure. That's almost exactly how I felt about, speaking of young whiskey, Tom's Foolery. Like, when they first came out with their bourbon, I almost swore that it was green wood that I was tasting. It almost tasted like green wood. Yeah.
People taste things,
yeah.
And it was different.
I've been a Tom's Foolery fan my whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I bought their very first bottles that came out. I mean, literally, and they've come a long way.
Yeah,
and they're
evolved.
a local facility, and
Yeah.
At some point we were trying to get them on the show, and it when it got close to doing the show, COVID and all this stuff, so it didn't happen. So we're
Natural.
going to revisit that. But anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, so that's a great product. It really is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It really, really is a great product.
I agree.
So
All
we
right.
don't mind something young once in a while, just to spice things
Amen,
up.
brother.
Well, as long as it's legal, right?
Shit. All right, good.
This is, I mean, so
Say
there's,
that again, Karen.
as long as it's legal, right?
Yeah, there we go. All right.
I'm glad the soundboard's still alive.
I'm glad I remembered what I said, because half the time stuff just flies out and I have no
Yep.
idea what I'm saying. So,
So
I
good
did
job on that. Yeah.
remembering what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but when you said the young, there are young whiskeys that we have had that are, there's nothing to them. They're very
Yeah.
limp, I guess is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, not very dimensional, right? Very flat.
And this is, although it is young tasting, there's a lot of flavor to it. So
Again,
I think
it's-
that sets it apart.
I think it's why I like Michters. I haven't met one that I didn't like so far. I think they just really know what they're doing. They do a really good mash. Everything's high quality, and they don't need to age it quite as long, at least for the type of result they're looking for, which I guess I like. So,
All right.
That's
well,
how.
any other comments?
What do you got? What do you got on the scroll? What do you got on the scroll?
So Jennifer Boggs, God love her, you know, she's always conversing with the others
Yes,
that are
yeah.
on
Oh,
the scroll. So she's asking, what are we drinking? What are we smoking? Jennifer has a Jefferson's Rye finished in cognac casks
Oh,
and a Broken Barrel Isle of Peat working on Jefferson's Ocean 19.
Oh.
Girl, are you still vertical? Because damn.
I find the
she
I
she
find
doesn't mess around.
the Jeffersons.
Doesn't mess
I'm sorry. Bring it back.
Jefferson's Ocean's
Jefferson's
19.
Ocean.
No.
The cognac cask?
The cognac.
Yeah.
Jefferson's rye.
cognac, right?
Cognac cask.
I find that I find it to be very dry.
Really?
I could see that.
Just me. And Kurt. Just saying. I find it to be very dry.
Jennifer likes the Michters.
Michter's, yeah.
She says she likes the oak in it, and the taste is better than the nose. I would definitely agree with that, Jennifer.
All right.
Rob is enjoying some Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. That
Amen.
was
Amen, dog.
last
Nice job.
week's, and he's got a Gurkha 12-year Cellar Reserve cigar.
Bragger.
There we go.
And why I was laughing before, Jennifer Boggs said, anyone ever smoked a flying pig? And Sidecar said yes, and I said yeah, but that was in college. And then Sidecar comes back and says, just college?
We miss Sidecar.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
God,
love
shh,
that guy.
don't say that out
Hopefully he's-
loud.
No, I do. I do. Sometimes it's like, I mean, me and him were together for many years. I mean, tight. Thick as thieves, man. I miss him. I do. I hate
Well, I
to
hope
say
he
it.
got is able
Plus,
to
he cooked all the
visit
time,
sometime
so-
and
He did
be,
cook all the
be a
time.
guest. That would be nice. So.
So let's get into the ratings. Let's get
Well,
this
wait,
done.
before we do the ratings, it's time for another.
Bottle cam? Get the hell out
Did
of here.
somebody say bottle cam?
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam.
Check
The
it
bottle
out,
cam.
Bob. Let's check it out.
Views. I love it.
Is this the same one? That's the same one. Come on now.
You don't wanna-
Get rid of that. Get rid of
Hang
that.
on to your seats, Ty.
Hey everyone,
Hang on.
it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle cam.
There we go. Shake it. Whoa. Nice.
Those are good.
That was awesome. Yeah. Thanks for
Fine ride. Good job.
Thanks, bro.
Okay, so we're getting now. It's the rubber meets the road, and it's.
You're stupid. Let's do this. Let's get to. Come on, we're running on short time over here. Guys are killing me.
Okay. Well, okay. So, Big G, we like to start with you. What do
All
you?
right. What?
Well, give you some pressure.
What?
Give you a little pressure.
3.75.
Now, yeah, and that's a great whiskey roundtable score, especially for relatively young whiskey. And again, it just shows you what a good job they do.
I'm sorry to
Karen
interrupt
is,
you during the show,
wants
but
one more
can
sip.
you throw a
to-
rating with us? Or?
to-
No, I wanted to give it one more sip. I needed that.
Okay.
And I did up my score. I'm going to give it a 3.6.
Okay.
And I am upping my score because on this sip, I got a banana out of it.
Easy. That's not
All
until
right.
after the
Not
show.
getting too wild.
No nut skins.
Very
No nuts,
close.
kids.
I did get
Very
a nanner
close.
in there.
Guys, I'm, again, I'm really liking this. I'm just a little behind you, maybe at a 3.55. Again, this is kind of, I've been a lot in this range for the last several weeks, but that's it.
Is
I
that
call them
delicious?
as I see them.
Is that delicious?
I was right with you at 3.5.
Okay.
I love it, but it's super, super basic. That's not a bad thing, but it's bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would. Like
a
Greg
score?
said, I could chill this one and drink it. I could just
100%.
have it neat. I could.
Anyway.
I could mix
Listen,
it with something. I mean, it's
that's a drink you can have on your bar.
Yeah.
Take anywhere. Nobody's ever going to complain
No,
about it.
nobody's gonna
It's,
complain.
it's very versatile.
and if they do, they're wrong.
Amen.
In fact, yeah, I mean, I had one of their products at my party, and people commented on it, how much they liked it. So it was the rye, but I mean, they just make good things. I think.
Sure.
And I
Very
would,
accessible.
I would say, we always talk about people are new getting into bourbon and whiskey. I think this is a really good intro.
Absolutely.
because it gives you the base, I think, of what all other bourbon and whiskeys build off of, and add some different notes and tastes to them. So I think this is really good as a base.
And I have some single malt drinkers that don't like the sweetness of bourbon. I think also this isn't overly sweet. I find it's nicely balanced, and I think for that reason even some Scotch drinkers would appreciate this whiskey.
Marin, you got a 3.5.
Marin's
3.5
right there
for
with
Marin,
us,
too.
3.5.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So let's see. I think, Jen, you said you've had this before. Do you have a rating you want to throw out on this one? She said it's pretty good.
Oh, what?
So let's see what she means by pretty good. All right. So while we're waiting for Jen's rating, should we just run into the final results?
All right, let's
Week
get into
3.
it. Let's get
I'm
into
good
this.
with that.
Let's do it.
Doug, you have any
Yeah,
words
well,
of
just
wisdom?
a
you wanna...
little lead in again. So maybe you hadn't been to all the weeks so far, but the first week we did the cigar and whiskey pairing event. Greg and my other friend Dan Ruth went to Royal Havana. They sampled 3 whiskeys that I brought with me, and then they were asked to pair each of those whiskeys with a great cigar to go with that. And so they did that. Then last week, Dan and Greg then actually evaluated themselves by tasting each whiskey with their cigar and kind of giving us an impression of how they thought they did. And now this week, we have producer Zach, which will be the final judge, who had the unenviable task of tasting all 3 whiskeys in combination with all 6 cigars and rendering his verdict on each of those selections. So enjoy.
Be right back, kids.
I apologize in
Whiskey
advance.
It's the Whiskey Wizard.
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Wizard, where we say that whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. Tonight we're wrapping up our 4th episode about cigars, whiskey, and pairing cigars and whiskey. Last time we had Dan Ruth and Big G discuss their thoughts about how they thought they did after sampling their own whiskey and cigar pairings. And so finally tonight, our producer Zach will try their pairings and pass his judgment as far as how he thought they did. So here we go with part 3 of cigar and whiskey pairings, and our last of a 4-episode series on cigars and whiskey.
Hey, how's everyone doing at the Whiskey Roundtable? This is Zach, and the funniest thing happened to me the other day. Doug just dropped a box in my lap that had 3 bottles of whiskey and 6 cigars in it, and he said, hey, can we get some tasting notes on these for the Whiskey Wizard? And who am I to refuse an offer like that? So we're here tonight to sample some whiskey, see how it pairs with some cigars, and hopefully learn a little bit along the way. Hopefully I'm not going to do all of these in one night. I think that would probably be a mistake, so we're going to space these out and see what we get. Thanks for stopping by, and on to the first one. So, first up tonight, we have Glenmorangie Nectar d'Or, which has an absolutely beautiful color. I'm quite excited for this one. I've never tried it before, and it's been on my list for quite a while, so I'm super excited it came up on this pairing episode. Let's go ahead and get some notes on it. Now, I wasn't expecting that at all. I knew that this was a little bit more of a desserty scotch, but I'm getting straight honey at the beginning of the nose. Possibly a little bit of citrus, and it has a nice round note at the end of it, which is absolutely fantastic. And, you know, going into tasting notes on that, it's a whole lot of the same. Honey is straight front and center on this one. And you know what? I have to say, it has a lot more heat than I was expecting too, especially for something at this proof. It's not unpleasant, and to be honest, I think it kind of complements the sweetness. It's nice to have a little bit of a bite with that sweetness. Yeah, there it is. It's a little bit later in the evolution, but it definitely goes into a typical Glenmorangie Scotch. Like that's the taste that I was expecting. And that definitely comes up second in your evolution. It doesn't stick around for long though. Directly afterward, you get kind of a grape skin taste. It's wine adjacent. It's definitely not straight wine. But it's pretty powerful, surprisingly. It almost completely kills the Scotch note for me, and it just goes straight into those wine casks afterward. And I'm not too familiar with this product, but I think it's made from casks of a French dessert wine, which definitely makes sense. I'm getting that sweetness, I'm getting that roundedness. It's almost disappointing because I like Glenmorangie Scotch, and it's kind of getting overpowered. But I think this is definitely something that's good to reach for if you're looking for something different. Now, I suppose we should probably get to the point of this episode and pair it with a cigar. Now, I have to say, I'm definitely a fan of the Perdomo champagnes. I think it's a fantastic starter cigar, and honestly, it's my cigar of choice when I don't really feel like thinking that day. It's nice, it's light, it's approachable. It's not the best thing on the market, but I've never been unhappy with one. So I'm excited to use this as my first pairing. We're going to go ahead and put it with a Glenmorangie Nectar d'Or, and let's get going. Now I know what you're probably saying. I used a Zippo to light it. I know it's a big no-no. I will be the first to admit that my cigar palate is not nearly as refined as my whiskey palate. So I do cheat. I use lighter fluid Zippos. I've never had an issue with the taste, to be honest. I know a lot of people say that they can taste it. I've never had that overpower the cigar. And I just really like the way a Zippo lights, so for now, I'm a heathen. That's how I light my cigars. And yeah, that Perdomo is everything I remember and more. It has a nice, it's almost like a grainy body to it. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it wheat because it's nice and light and it's approachable. It has a nice full body, despite it being so light. To be honest, I'm excited for this pairing because I think this is going to be the perfect yin and yang. This has a nice light body, just maybe a touch of sweetness. And I even kind of get some citrus high notes on it too, which I think is going to complement the Glenmorangie perfectly. Yeah, I'm not mad about that at all. And I have to say too, it's the burn on these is always fantastic. I don't think I've ever had a Perdomo go sideways on me. It's just such a great cigar when you don't want to think about it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get our tasting notes together. Now, I always taste my whiskeys first. I think you gain a lot by smoking a cigar with a whiskey, but I also think you kind of lose a lot. A lot of cigars can be overpowering, and I think sometimes it hides a lot of notes on your whiskeys, especially if you have something more delicate. So I always like to go for the whiskey, go for the cigar afterward, and pair them in that order. Oh, that's good. I'm getting an amplification of the citrus tones. I think both of these have very light citrus tones, and together it just kicks it up another notch. And I also think the cigar kind of helps. I don't know if helps is the right word, but it removes some of the scotchy tones from this, and it turns it into a straight nectar. I mean, at this point, when I go for the scotch, I'm getting the sweet notes, I'm getting the citrus notes. It almost tastes like straight nectar. It's it's really weird, actually. And not surprisingly, the cigar helps mask some of the burn of the Glenmorangie as well, which I'm not going to complain about. To be honest, A+ pairing. It's a little bit on the lighter side. It's not the most complex show you're going to get. I mean, these two work well together. I get a lot of citrus, a lot of honey together with them. And I think if you're looking for a day off, if you don't want to think about it too much and just want a good light pairing, these two are fantastic. That's Glenmorangie Nectar d'Or and the Perdomo Champagne 10. Hey, and next up for our Nectar d'Or, we're going to be pairing it with an Ashton VSG. Now, I have to say Ashton, whenever I see Ashton cigars, I think deep, dark, traditional cigar flavors. Maybe not the first thing I would have went to for this scotch, just because it has such a light, almost honey flavor. But I'm excited. I mean, right on the wrapper, you get almost like a chocolatey smell, maybe a little bit of baking spice, but overwhelmingly, you just get that leather, that kind of traditional, dark, aged leather smell. So I don't think we can go too wrong on this, but I think it's going to be a lot more interesting than the Perdomo Champagne at least. So let's get to it. I have to say, this Ashton VSG is absolutely perfect. Definitely a good just go-to smoker. Has those traditional flavors, but it's turning out a lot lighter than I initially thought it would. It has all those notes, the traditional, kind of aged leather up front. You get a little bit of the baking spice on the finish of it. The more you kind of let it, breathe in your mouth afterward, you get a little bit of the baking spice, maybe just a smidgen of vanilla. I'm not really getting the chocolate that I got on the nose of the wrapper before, but I don't think it needs it. Now, let's get on to the pairing. I have to say I'm pretty excited for this one. I think the two contrasting flavors are going to go great together. Yeah, that's pretty good. This brings out a lot of flavors in the Nectar d'Or that I was missing before. It kind of overpowers the sweetness. It's still there, but there's not too much of it, like I could argue there was before. I'm getting a little bit more of kind of a saltiness and a smokiness out of it, which I was really missing before. I like Scotch. I like smoky Scotches. So I was kind of disappointed where most of it had fallen away to sweetness on this one. So, final thoughts on the Nectar d'Or pairing. I have to say the Ashton VSG is certainly a sleeper pick. It's not something I would have reached for in the humidor, considering this. But I think it does a lot of good. It kind of tempers the sweetness, brings out some of those classic flavors in both of them. And this adds a lot of dimension to this as well. Hey there, Whiskey Roundtable. I'm here with the next whiskey for our cigar pairing series, and it is Rossville Union Rye, which I am very excited about. Rye is definitely my wheelhouse. Love them. It's my favorite whiskey, so I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. Let's start out with the nose. Yeah, this is a good one. I've had it before, and I remember. It has a nice, almost fresh cut grass feel to it. You definitely get, the rye punch and kind of the ethanol on the nose. There's a little bit of sweetness in there too. If I remember right, I think this is an MGP product, which nothing wrong with that. I love a lot of MGP products, so let's go in for the taste. Yeah, that's good. It definitely starts out very round. You get the traditional American whiskey vanilla roundness, the rye, and almost like a dough thing going on to start out with. Kind of the spike that you get up the back of the nose doesn't come until, a second or so throughout the evolution. You have time to enjoy it before you get that kind of spike up the back of your nose. There's a little bit of fruit on the finish too. I can't decide whether it's kind of a fresh apple or a berry or some combination of the two. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one. Has a lot of nice fresh flavors that I think are going to offset the cigar. It has a little bit of punch to it, so I think it's going to be able to stand up to whatever the cigar has to offer. So let's go ahead and get on with it and go to our first pairing. Okay, so for the Ashton, one thing I noticed right off the bat, it has a little bit of a looser draw on it. The flavors are great on it, I'll say that much. I think I might have a new go-to here. It has a very creamy texture. A flavor almost akin to almonds. Almost like a light roast coffee in there too. I'll say this one's a quick burner at that. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty fantastic with our Rossville Union Rye. It has a lot of lighter flavor components. I think it's going to kind of let the rye do its thing. Complement it very nicely. It's not really going to overpower anything, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so here's our Ashton Magnum with our Rossville Union Rye. I love that almond tone out of that cigar. It's just so consistent, so light. Now that's good. To be honest, it almost turns up the intensity on the Rossville a little bit. All the notes just seem a shade darker when you put them together. I'm not getting as much as of that crisp apple anymore. It's kind of, leaning closer to the dark berry territory, kind of the fresh note on it. And if I'm not mistaken, it seemed to kind of lessen the ethanol spike, that kind of nose burn you get at the end. Hey, what's going on? Zach here with the next Rossville Union pairing, and it's a good one. I couldn't help myself. I already dug in. I've got the Padron 1926 80th here, and it is fantastic. It's a box cut, which I'm always a sucker for. It's got a nice, even, tight draw to it. It doesn't gum up, but it's definitely a little bit slower and tighter on the draw, which I like. Fantastic Nicaraguan wrapper on it. I mean, from the first sniff, it really reminded me of a black cup of coffee, which is exactly what I'm looking for in my darker to medium wrapper cigars. Those coffee notes, when you actually start drawing on it, yeah, you get the coffee up front. Straight black cup coffee, which I love. I would almost rather pair this with a cup of coffee than whiskey, but we're going with whiskey today. It has a nice, dark, earthy flavor to it. A little bit akin to leather, your regular cigar notes. On top of that, this has a nice, even balance of baking spices in it. I want to say almost a clove note underneath that kind of gives the dark, monotone start to the cigar a little bit of variety, a little bit of flavor. I'm getting a little bit of a high note on it too. Maybe some type of citrus or something like that, but to be honest, I can't even identify it. It's just there and it's kind of cutting through some of the darkness of the cigar. It makes it a little bit lighter, a little bit less of a drag, but yeah, man, that's good. Let's go ahead and pair this cigar with our Rossville Union. Ooh, that's good. I was kind of afraid that these two were going to fight. But they aren't at all. This is staying absolutely rock solid. That coffee and clove note comes through still like crazy on this. And I'm not sure which is bringing out the citrus note and which, but I'm getting a little bit of an orange note on this one now, and don't get me wrong, it's great. I'm kind of missing some of the more complex flavors that Rossville Union brings to the flavor here. I'm getting a heat, a little bit of orange, but it's very refreshing. The two together are a perfect match, really. Man, I love that last pairing. But I'm going to have to go with the Padron 1926 on this one. I mean, the other one's good, but this is a whole different tier. I think that this is a pairing that I could just go on with all night long. Wouldn't get sick of it. It's just light enough. It's perfect balance. Yeah. Padron 1926 gets it handily on this one. Okay, for our Uncle Nearest. I'm excited to try this one. It has a nice amber golden tone to it. A little bit on the thinner side. And the nose is very good. Sweet, not too sweet. A little bit of like a buttery, creamy note to it. And it seems fairly light for what it is, so I'm pretty excited for it. Oh, that's good. I don't use these descriptors often, but the first two notes I got were orange creamsicle and butterscotch. There's definitely a little bit of smokiness to it. It's nothing too crazy. It's very smooth. There's no ethanol taste whatsoever. Yeah, there's that butterscotch and maybe just a little bit of spice again. I think this is going to be a fantastic whiskey for cigars. And for that, I mean, there's a lot of flavor profiles that I think will go well with traditional cigar tasting notes, but they don't overlap. I don't think they're going to fight at all, which that was a little bit of a concern I had with the first two whiskeys, but that's good. Let's go on to the cigar pairings. So we're on to our first cigar to pair with Uncle Nearest. It's going to be the Oliva Series 5. And this isn't my first time with this cigar. It's kind of a go-to for me. It's nice and approachable. Has a lot of the good coffee flavors that you would expect from a traditional darker cigar. It has a very open draw, which sometimes I'm not into, but if you don't want to think about it too much and if you're careful with them, you can still get a really good burn on them. What I like about these things is they start off with kind of an even keel traditional cigar note. After that, it goes into a little bit of spiciness that lingers on the tongue. And at the end, it goes into this really nice kind of bittersweet note. Almost like bittersweet chocolate, but I know that's a little bit stereotypical. I would almost compare it more to like a bittersweet honey or something like that, but I know there's not a whole lot of precedence for that. But yeah, all around, I think if you're looking for a good cigar for your friends, the Oliva 5 Series is fantastic. Okay, so here's our pairing notes for the Oliva 5 Series and Uncle Nearest. Oh, that's good. That whole orangey butterscotch note that I was mentioning before is just cranked up on this. The subtle sweetness of the cigar really ties the two together, but the dark earthy tones at the beginning of the evolution provide a really nice contrast between these two. I had a feeling that was going to happen with this whiskey. Yeah, and the other way around, it brings out a little bit of a baking spice profile that I didn't get quite as much on this before. It's nice because the sweetness of this definitely occupies its own space, and it kind of leaves room for the darker notes in the Oliva to, come through a little bit more. It's almost like the guys who put together these pairings for me knew what they were doing. But seriously. Next up for our Uncle Nearest, we have the Arturo Fuente Hemingway edition. And this is a little bit of a different one. I don't usually reach for Arturo Fuentes because, I don't know, I think they have a stigma in my generation of being your grandfather's cigar. There's usually a lot of, just traditional cigar flavors that come out of them, but I'm not getting that at all with this one. I had a little bit of a woody note on the nose when I first took it out, inspected the wrapper. And digging into it, the thing I was most surprised about was there's a decent amount of sweetness that comes right off the bat and stays on your lips. I suspect that's mostly in the wrapper. It has a pretty short evolution. Afterward, it goes into your traditional cigar flavors. A little bit leather, earthy. I'm getting a little bit of green wood on this one. It's a very springy cigar at times. I might take back what I said about having a short evolution. There's a lot that kind of sneaks in after the fact. I'm almost getting a little bit of candied ginger, a little bit of root vegetable in there. A lot of spring flavors, weird enough. None of them stick around too long. They just kind of, peak up at their own times. But I don't know. I like this one. It's not what I would usually reach for, and not what I would expect from an Arturo Fuente product. But I think that's just my lack of education in that brand. I'm going to have to give them a second look after this. Let's try it with the Uncle Nearest. Let's go ahead and get some pairing notes on these. Oh, that's interesting all around. The Arturo Fuente is remaining pretty unchanged for me. I think with the kind of competing sweet tones, this wins, which is nice. It brings out more of the classic cigar elements in the Arturo Fuente. But I think the real magic happens with the Uncle Nearest. You get a syrupy note out of it almost. That orange creamsicle butterscotch thing that I had going on before is just intensified. And the heat in this is a lot more apparent as well. And I have to say, the heat in this is a lot more apparent as well. I mean, this was coming out so smooth before, but for some reason, it's kind of letting it breathe a little bit more, and it's showing off a little bit of its proof here. See, this is a hard one for me because this is this pairing's giving me a lot of curveballs. But I have to say, it's my favorite between the Oliva and the Arturo Fuente. This is bringing some really interesting stuff to the party. And I think that's kind of the fun in pairing things and tasting things. Anytime that you can get something that makes you go, huh? Or, bring something different to the table or something you haven't tasted before. I think that's what you're going for.
Okay, way to go, Zach. That was magnificent. So, of course, there's no absolute correct pairing, as it's all a bit up to the taste of the beholder. But we hope we gave you some basic considerations to use when selecting a smoke to go along with that next great dram you've been anticipating. Nice job, everyone. Thanks, Dan Ruth, Big G, and producer Zach. Tremendous fun. Frankly, in making the episode on tobacco and cigars and then the 3 pairing episodes, I learned a ton about this whole aspect of whiskey and cigars, which have gone so well together as long as folks have enjoyed either one. My biggest takeaway is that perhaps there are some choices that may offer the best overall experience. And yes, As it is with whiskey, with fine cigars, you tend to get what you pay for. Quality always costs more, but it's usually worth it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed all this as much as we did. If you're into fine cigars, go try your own pairing exercise. Please comment on our Facebook page or email us at thewhiskeyroundtable@gmail.com and let us know about your pairings of fine cigars and fine whiskeys. Special thanks to our sponsor, Royal Havana Cigars, and Dave Samrock for hosting our little pairing Whiskey Wizard event and for supporting all we do here on the Whiskey Roundtable. Okay, we'll see you all next time. This is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Roundtable. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Cheers, Slanjava, and now, back to the live show! All right. Good job, Zach.
Sorry you guys had to stare at my face for so long, but
That was the most rolling part of the show.
I know.
The first thing I noticed is, oh, you got new glasses. Girl.
Well, yeah, so I think what was interesting about this whole thing, so Zach, as far as the selections, the ones that he picked as his favorites for each, 2 of the 3 went to Big G in this case.
Naturally.
And but Dan, it's one of the things that's interesting is that he did pick the Arturo Fuente.
Oh yeah, the Hemingway.
With the Uncle Nearest, and interestingly, that was the one that Dan, in his own self-evaluation, decided maybe he should have picked something else. So maybe not, Dan. So that was
Everybody's palate's different.
yeah. That was very interesting. And there's no right or wrong answer with something like this,
I agree.
but it was very interesting, and I think there are some general rules, right, when it comes to pairing a cigar with a whiskey. So, you definitely want a full-bodied cigar if you're going to have something high proof. Something a little more bold in a whiskey. You want a cigar that can hold up to that. And,
I'm a CAO guy, so let's go there. So I'm a CAO guy. Listen, everybody I sit down and smoke a cigar with, nobody, for years that I've been doing it, nobody is smoking a CAO. Everybody has their own cigar, man. So, everybody's palate's different. So there's no right and there's no wrong when it comes to what's the best cigar. There's no right or wrong with that. Knowledge, when I always say this all the time about people walk into a cigar lounge, if you will, or a cigar shop, if you will, and they'll pick a cigar based on the label and not have
based on the marketing.
Exactly right. And it's just like it is what it is. I've been doing this a long time, so.
And I think, as you said when you did your evaluation, I think it's right. You said something about a lot of people that try a cigar for the first time. They tend to just pick it, based on the label or some other factor. Whereas maybe if they asked somebody, because a lot of times they say, "I don't like cigars,"
question, man.
Yeah, because they didn't pick the right cigar to start with.
Sure.
So and Big G, you're more than happy to consult with anybody that's wanting to try it for the first time or something like that. So
I always ask everybody. I mean, people come over here, they're like, I'm not really big in, Chris, last week, I said, well, what's your palate?
Yeah. What
do you like? Well, I like cigars, but, I'm kind of more of a lighter guy. Okay, well, then I got your cigar. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Nobody prejudges you. Nobody ever in a cigar lounge, if you will, or if you're going to go to get a cigar. Cigar lounge is the place to go because they'll educate you. At least they should educate you, and just say, well, how often do you smoke cigars? Well, maybe 2 a year. Well, then you're going to get the 10th anniversary because it's a lighter cigar. It smokes well. Blah blah blah. So that's just my opinion.
And that's the great thing about Royal Havana, and not just because they're a sponsor, but people actually go in there and help you, and they'll
walk in the humidor and they'll pick cigars out.
What do you like?
Absolutely.
What's your palate? What is and they help you out and pick the right stuff. And
Next thing you know, you see them on a Wednesday night when we go there, or Thursday, and they bring their friends, and everybody's, people want to do cigars and whiskey, and you say, well, what are you drinking? Oh, well, we're drinking this. Okay, well, I think you should probably smoke this. It all works. It's all good stuff.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Amen.
Ask the people that really know their cigars for some assistance if you're just getting started. That's what they're there for. They're more than happy to help you, and
Amen.
They want the experience to be good for you. So
Yeah, you're not going to come back if you leave with something you don't like.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
it's
they
in
want
their
you to be
best
happy.
interest too.
Exactly.
Well.
So this kind of wraps up Cigar and Whiskey Month.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first cigar.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So how did you get into cigars?
boy.
I had a terrible start into cigars. No, I was hanging out with some friends at college, and I forget exactly what the context was, but
was Cameron there?
yeah, Cameron was there, Tom was there, and then
Tom Sosa?
Yeah,
Okay.
Matt Sosa has been on the show before, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Matt Sosa comes up afterward, and we're walking back in the dorm, and he comes running up with just an ammo box full of cigars.
Sounds
and he
like Matt.
opens up the top and says, pick whatever you want. And little did I know they were all flavored gas station cigars. So I ended up with a peach flavored gas station cigar.
Winner, chicken dinner.
I'm sitting there trying to figure, hey, didn't dissuade me. I know Matt's got better taste than
Oh
that,
yeah.
too,
So he might have thought that was a good starter. For you guys.
He brought me a his ammo box, if you will.
Yeah.
Last week when we were at Doug's house, and he says, "All right, I got this. This one's a bourbon, tobacco, blah blah blah. This one, this one, this." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna try that bourbon cigar," and I'll tell you what, it was a fantastic cigar.
And in all fairness,
It was good.
you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
give a few college students who have no idea
I
what
know.
they're talking about anything nice either, so it was probably for the best.
But you're intelligent enough to understand that. Okay, well, this might not be, but I'm going to try it again.
But there was something about that experience, and
Sure.
obviously you follow that up with
Amen.
exploring some more dimensions.
I don't know what they do with those, like gas station flavored cigars, but it literally tastes like they dip them in a vat of sugar before they actually wrap them up, and it's just like I'm sitting there on my lips. And it's like, what is candy?
You know what? Like Chris Rock said, it's good not to know.
That's
Amen.
true. That is very true.
Let's jump on the scroll and let's walk it out of here, kids.
All right, let's see
What
what
we
we
got?
have on the scroll. Jennifer Boggs, of course, says, Zach, I love the way you say, "Oh, that's good," each time.
Easy,
That was
Jen.
Lauren.
Easy.
Lauren
that was Lauren?
Slater said that.
Easy.
Oh, Lauren, I'm sorry.
Jennifer
Lauren.
said,
Easy,
"Excellent
Lauren.
whiskey wizard.
Easy, Lauren.
You have a good palate, Zach. Excellent whiskey wizard."
Hey, Whiskey Wizard, I'm real proud of you.
Okay, well, thank you, Siri, for that.
What's
And,
all
and
the
Matt
confidence?
Sosa said, "Nice job, Zach."
Yeah,
There we
So,
go.
Awesome.
Hey, I've come a long way.
I was going to say, you
And
graduated.
Matt, you helped give you your start.
It's true, it's
in
true.
Foray into cigars.
Yeah, I had to get that kick into it.
Yeah.
And we did get Jennifer Boggs' score on the Michters. It's a 3.4.
Okay, we put that, and that'll be in the official scoring notes.
And
We
she
got-
said not a top 10, but solid.
Absolutely.
And Marion gave us a score too. What was Marion's score?
Marion gave
us
us
3.5?
a 3.5.
3.5. Yeah,
So we're all in the same
yeah.
room.
And
We're all in the same room.
Rob Richter says he agrees it's good enough to keep a place behind his bar.
Amen. Thanks, Rob.
Nice.
Appreciate you watching the show today. Are you
Oh.
coming home on the 28th? Or I should say coming home. Coming back on the 28th, which is what's today? 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, Monday. Okay, so let me know how long you're going to be in. Maybe we do a car show that day. All right, Rob. Appreciate you. Love you.
And a couple more notes. Jennifer Boggs excellent whiskey wizard. You have a good palate, Zach. And Sidecar agrees and gives you 2 thumbs up.
Oh.
Well, thank you very much, everyone.
Brown
You're
noser.
too kind.
Why don't you go make a cannoli, Ralphie? Okay, you're killing
Or
me.
those lobster roll things.
Yeah,
Those are,
cook
are
one,
the,
yeah.
what are those, Spagolis?
Yeah, Spagoli. He was in Fast Time at Ridgemont Heights.
so
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think maybe in July when we're doing American whiskey features, that maybe Ralph can join us on one of those.
Yeah, I'd love that. All right, wrap us
So I
up.
want to
kids.
thank you all for watching. If you're here with us live, or if you're watching this later on, remember, if you missed the live show, it happens. So please still watch when it's convenient, because it's your views that help keep this thing going. We'll be off next week for the holiday, but we will be back on Friday, July 9th at the usual time. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on Facebook. If you have any comments or questions, if you want to be a guest on the show, you can comment on Facebook or email us at thewhiskeyroundtable@gmail.com. So to close it up, I have a few quotes again this week, and the first comes from none other than Abraham Lincoln. So when asked about his cabinet doing the nation's business while drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, he said, "Well, it has been my experience that folks who have no vices also have very few virtues." And
That's deep.
we'll leave it with Frank Sinatra, who said, "Fresh air makes me throw up. I can't handle it. I'd rather breathe the vapor of whiskey and have 3 cigars blowing in my face all night."
Awesome.
Well, Frank, we got your spot right over there on the casting couch.
All right, kids. I'm Big G from the Whiskey Roundtable. Doug Dunbar for the Whiskey Wizard. See you guys. Go ahead.
Helen Keller?
We're going to catch us out here. Can I just do my thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am the host. Can I just do my
too.
thing?
We're all hosts.
Okay.
It's all our
All right.
shows.
Safe weekend next weekend, kids. We have a great time. Big G, Whiskey Roundtable.
Karen Helen Keller, good night.
Doug Dunbar.
And Zach Freeze reminding you to hit that notification bell so you are alerted next time we're live.
Catch your
All
cats
right. Have
in 2 weeks.
Have a great 4th, folks. We'll see you next time.
USA.
All right, July 9th. We'll see you then.
All right. Catch you next time.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing else would pay like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped. Poor Jack D would be out of a job. Jameson and Bean would be cut off. Hank Williams songs wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, this whole damn world would be a mess. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped, oh. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee.